I had something creative planned originally for this. I was going to pretend I was a zombie who still retained his memories of telling people there were spoilers in this video, but I didn't feel like doing it. So I'm just going to tell you, there are spoilers in this. All right. I just beat Resident Evil 9, and I have to say, I think it's going up there as one of my favorite Resident Evil games. I can't even lie to you. This game, it was definitely worth the wait, I will say. 7 was cool because it really brought the series back, and I understand why they made a sequel to it, but I think it was time to end the whole Ethan saga, I guess I should say. It was time to go back, I think, and they really did a good job with bringing back Leon here. It's like if there was any character to bring back, I think that was going to drum up hype for whatever the next Resident Evil game was going to be. I think it was going to be Leon. And the crazy thing is, Grace, I think, is actually my favorite in this game above Leon. Like, Leon is cool, but Leon's cool because we already know, and he's kind of like spectacle, right? Grace, I really think, carries the story and the even the acting through the game. I actually think I preferred playing as Grace for the most part over playing as Leon, and I think people might say that her sections are a lot slower and you have to do a lot more sneaking, but I actually don't really think that you do. If you're really smart with whatever it is that you're using in order to make it around the space, you can actually do quite a bit of combat with Grace, especially if you're like making knives and you have hemolytic injectors, which are things that I will talk about later. But anyway, yeah, the game is great. Let me get back to talking about that. But the game is great. Like, the way that it opens, pretty reminiscent of 7, because you're walking through a spooky hotel and you don't really do that much, but you kind of take in the environments. The lightning is like striking. It starts like raining, and this hotel looks like super creepy, and the lighting is really good, and things kind of ramp up from there. Grace gets captured and taken away to an asylum. Yeah, getting chased by that zombie in the very first section was really cool. Really brought the tension. I do remember wondering a little bit if I should be sneaking or shooting more as Grace, talking about the tension, but I ended up, in the very beginning, you had to do probably a lot more avoiding. I will say that you do have to avoid most of the stuff because they don't really give you much, but I kind of like that. I do like that they brought that into the game. It really set the tone and defined, I think, the horror going in, and it kind of made it cool to eventually get to more action-packed sequences like you earn it later on. But yeah, the environments for the game were great in this one, in the Grace section, because the hotel, like I said, very atmospheric. The lighting was great, and then you wind up in an asylum, and how have we not been in an asylum before in a Resident Evil game? From memory, I don't think we have. It was just so creepy, but it's also surprising that we've never been in an asylum, and that asylum is terrifying. I will say that asylum is kind of terrifying because that's when they introduce the girl.
Infected.
Oh. I'm about to say, run, girl. I'm getting out of here. Uh-oh. Oh, help me! Don't kill me. That wasn't me. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh. That thing is terrifying. And it is this really scary bioweapon? I guess it's a bioweapon, yeah, that they introduced way early on. And in the beginning, like I said, you don't get anything to really fight against it. So you have to just keep running away and hope that it doesn't kill you. And they have a cool mechanic that gives you some sort of reprieve outside of just hiding under a bed or a wardrobe, and that's the light. You have to walk into the light, and it burns the monster, so you can get caught, but as long as you can make it to some source of light, you'll make it. And there's they play around with that a lot, because sometimes you'll walk into a room you thought was safe at one point, and the lights will just pop and they'll go off, and you're like, I'm in so much danger right now because I know this thing just enjoys being in the darkness. Close the door. What, did the lights go out? No. Uh-oh. Oh, God. And in the asylum, when it first shows up, there's a a hallway that the light is just blinking. You know, it's really I don't know why, but that was also unsettling for me because I was like, I wish that light would just come on. So that way I had somewhere to run if this thing sees me. You know, shortly after that, you know, you get introduced to like Grace's antagonist, I would say. It's kind of both of their antagonists, but I do think that he's mostly interested in Grace and he mostly interacts with her, to be honest, from what I remember. And it's Victor Gideon. He's kind of cool. I like him. I don't really know where he comes from, but I like him a lot in this. He's like the Joker, and he's like this guy who's confident. He's basically someone who I guess used to work for Spencer, because he calls Spencer his master, Oswald Lee Spencer. I think he claims that Spencer is his master, right? So it's this fanatic, I guess, who won't let go of whatever Spencer was working on. I don't think it really mattered what Spencer was working on, but I just think he has this really strange obsession with like figuring that out. And he needs Grace because Grace is apparently the key to figuring out what it is that Spencer was working on. Yeah, after you get caught by Victor, you know, you get to play as like Leon sections. The Leon sections are really cool to kind of sprinkle in between Grace, because I don't know about you, but personally, whenever I'm playing as Grace, the actress who was playing as her really carries this idea that like Grace is fucking terrified. Even in her dialogue, whenever she's talking in the cutscene, whoever the actress is for Grace did a really amazing job, because she was so scared. You could like hear it in her breath. You could see her gun, like when she had the gun, it was like shaking. She couldn't hold it still, and her breathing during the game, like it was so shaky, and she just stuttered. She was stuttering a lot. And there's a flashback sequence you play with her as too, and she has like a panic attack based on what's going on with her and her mom in that flashback.
Mom, I'm scared.
No. We need to find a way out of here now.
But we don't have any of our stuff,
We
Mom.
can come back for it later, Grace.
I
Found you.
Damn, whoever's performing for Grace, hats off, because yeah, she really sells it. And having the Leon section sprinkled in between, you know, because his sections are really action packed. Having those Leon sections in between, really good for allowing you to just be like, okay, I know I'm not safe as Leon, but I know these monsters are afraid of me if I'm Leon, you know. So I'm just beating ass. I'm beating ass with my new axe, and I'm stomping on zombies' heads and kicking them into walls and throwing shit at them, and it's just a good time. And then they put me back as Grace, and I'm like, okay, I gotta mentally prepare myself again, because I just thought they did a really good job with the horror in that part. It's really cool. Oh, speaking of that, I gotta talk about how they made the zombies retain their memories, because that's pretty cool too. You know, you would think that like how do I put this? The idea that that's how we're going to progress the gameplay. Capcom is just really good at just iterating on what they already do. It's like pushing it forward. And what they did with the zombies is basically this strain of the T virus allows them to retain their memories. So a lot of the zombies in Grace's campaign are still just doing their normal daily tasks that they would have been doing had they been alive. So like there's this guy, for example, who is really obsessed with flicking the lights on and off. Not on and off. I think he prefers them being off. And I guess that was his job earlier. One of his jobs anyway, was to make sure all the lights were off, I guess. And there's multiple light switches throughout like some of the hallways, and you can turn some light switches on to cause him to move to go turn that one off so that we can get through. Or like there's some that are cleaning, and they're obsessed with the cleaning. So those ones specifically you can't really interact with, but as long as they're cleaning, they won't really do anything to you. So yeah, there's just a couple things like that. They talk now. so the zombies like will say things, so they kind of feel more like classic zombies, you know. Oh, brains, I need brains, you know. So it kind of made them feel like that. There's a section with the chef. There's a section with these monsters called Chunk. Chunk's cool. He can't fit through doors. Yeah, and I don't know why I needed to say that, but there's one part I need to talk about. This one part where going back to Leon, where with the action sequences when they introduce him to you, like when he first gets to the asylum, you have to fight zombies, and there's like one zombie with a chainsaw, and I'm like, okay, I fought zombies with a chainsaw before, but these zombies actually don't even know how to use this fucking chainsaw, so they're swinging around all willy-nilly, and they don't know what they're doing with it, because one of them tripped over and the chainsaw fell onto the ground while he was still carrying it, and the chainsaw, I guess, was revving him along the ground to where it was just dragging him along the floor. Oh, he picked it up. Oh my god, he's going absolutely insane with that shit. And I'm like, these guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. And if you shoot the chainsaw out of the zombie's hand, the chainsaw for some reason still spins. So I'm like, oh, it's just probably an animation. I tried to pick it up. No, that shit hurt me. I'm picking this up. Oh, it's still spinning. Yeah. So yeah, they do a lot of cool things with a lot of these zombies in this Resident Evil game, and I gotta say, it's just really cool. Oh, okay, but I do have to mention one more thing with the combat. Bloater heads. I do have to talk about bloater heads. They basically brought back crimson heads, but these guys do like a anime dodge, like they try to ball you up like they're on the court. So they ball you up and shoot threes, and it's crazy, you know. The bloater heads they do not go down easy, and they're really fast. So they're like just as crazy as the crimson heads, which means that you have to make sure to use hemolytic injectors on bodies that you've downed to make sure that they don't get back up. You can't kill them normally, but like that requires so much resources as Grace, because she doesn't get as much resources as Leon. And Leon later on in his section gets like this stupid arcade game bracelet where it gives him points for how many kills he gets on the zombies, and I'm like, they know this is a game, and I'm glad they just like lean into it, because that just made it so much better. I was like so obsessed with killing zombies. There was this one part where a bunch of zombies like rose out of the water, and my first thought was like, I gotta get out of here, I'm fucked. But then I was like, but the points, I need the points so I can upgrade my weapons, because they allow you to do that, to like upgrade your weapons and stuff like that. Oh no, this is not good. I think I have to just get out of here. Wait, but the points. Oh, I'm wasting all these precious points. I need the points. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. What more do I talk about? Okay, if we're going to stick on the gameplay, the boss fights, I won't say they're all really cool, but my favorite one was the fucking spider. Oh, that's messed up. Oh, that's more messed up. No! Oh, that is the nastiest spider I've ever seen in Resident Evil. He just... Leon, you better run. Oh, he breaking it. He breaking it. Leon, run. Oh, never mind. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Get me out of here. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Hell no. No. I'm out of ammo. Oh, God. That was like, oh, this is some Resident Evil shit right here, because they introduced like, I think it's called like giant spinner or something like that. It's basically a giant tarantula that's roaming around Raccoon City, because there's a section where you get to go back to Raccoon City as Leon, and this motherfucker... that was a crazy fight. I loved that fight. That fight was so batshit insane. That's what I want, because like when I was talking about the snake from Resident Evil 6, how that just came out of nowhere, and for some reason can turn invisible. That's what this tarantula felt like, because I'm like, how is there even a spider to get big enough in this fucking desolate city? Like, where did this thing even come from? There's just things just wandering around the city. But that fight was batshit insane. Leon does also have to fight a Chunk, just like Grace did. But Grace, to be honest, it was easier for Grace to take it out than it was for Leon. Whichever Chunk that Leon was fighting, that guy was like, he was tanky. He was taking all my bullets. Oh, and the Mr. X fight. Oh man, when he just jumps in and from the ceiling, when you find Zeno, Wesker, whoever that is, when he falls in from the ceiling, I was like, no way, they got me fighting Mr. X.
Sorry, but I don't have time to spare.
Oh shit. Remember that didn't work, Leon? Try the same. Pull out the big gun, please. He chases you through like old RPG center, and you have to fight him. Like that boss fight was cool. He was like knocking back cars and shit like that. He was throwing rockets. He had missiles in his hand. He threw that shit at Leon. He bounced them back. And the Gideon boss fight, that fight was super sick. Okay, there was a really sick moment with the Gideon boss fight. He was doing some cool stuff. Like he had electricity, and he was charging it up like he was going Super Saiyan, and he would just launch that electricity at you and jump in the air and slam down and cause I don't know, he do an electric slam. I don't even know what to call it. But there was one moment he pulls out a fucking rocket launcher and he throws it, and I don't even know what caused me to do this. It's probably just on instinct, but that rocket was coming right for me. I pressed L1. Leon went bing with his axe, and it fucking reflected it back at him. He's got a rocket launcher. Why did he do that now? Oh my god, I reflected it. Did you see that? I reflected it. That was just instinctual. I didn't even know that would happen. I was like, this is the best. This is such a cool game. I died that attempt, but the second attempt, he pulled out that rocket launcher. I pulled out my Requiem, shot him before he got to shoot me. He dropped the rocket launcher. You can use that shit later on. Oh, now I get this. Oh, you can shoot it out of his hand. What if I shoot him with this? Oh, no way. I had one Requiem bullet and I got to trigger that. That's crazy. That was super sick. And apparently he's a nemesis. Can you believe that? His second phase is, I guess, it's nemesis form, and he looks gross. He looks, but in a really badass way. He looks fucking gross. It's just, yeah, the boss fights in this game were cool. The combat was super sick. Leon being able to pick things up and throw it at people was super cool. Him with his axe, like, he's just a lot less graceful, but he's like more brutal. Like, you can tell this dude wants to fucking like toss these memories aside and be done with this whole Raccoon City shit, because he's just popping zombies' heads left and right. And man, I don't even know what else. I could talk about the combat for forever. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I could talk about it forever, but I should talk about the story too, because the story is actually like it's got a really nice balance of silly and really serious things, and I think it's a pretty comprehensive story. You know, it's very consistent. It's easy to understand as well, and it doesn't try to go too crazy. There are some crazy things, like when Leon ramps off of a fucking building without knowing what's on the other side, because he just he ramps off a building. You get chased by zombie dogs. Oh. That's not gonna stop me. That's gonna stop me.
I don't give up that easy.
No way we're gonna drive up this building. This does not realistically work. Are we gonna survive this? Do a flip. No. I wish he did a flip. That would have been sick. There's some silly things that happen, you know, Wesker showing up and being like, I need this fucking Elpis vaccine thing, or not a vaccine, but he thinks it's a vaccine. Yeah, the story is really cool. Grace, great character. I fucking love Grace. Her and Leon going through the asylum, having this back and forth of like them trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, and this whole deal was cool. Leon showing up in the city, and Victor Gideon, the antagonist, like shooting civilians, just turning them into zombies in the beginning when you first get to play as Leon. That was cool. That was such a cool moment when you just see all the people turning and everybody's running in the city and stuff like that. When Grace finds Emily, I was like, this is my daughter now. I gotta save her. She is not getting a scratch on her. I was it fucked me up so much whenever you have to like carry her around. I was like, I gotta make sure that every place pristine, free of zombies. All right, Emily, everything's safe. Everything's safe. Everything's safe. Nothing to be afraid of anymore. Look at this. It's nice and quiet and clean in here. Nothing's gonna hurt you now. Oh. Still got unfinished business. That's the happy go fun time. It's a zombie. I don't know where to go with it. I wouldn't be really good with kids. and you bring her to a lot of places, and she's getting like, man, this girl gets traumatized because we bring her to this place so she can read Braille to solve a puzzle, and like there's a zombie outbreak, I guess, during that section, so we have to lock her in a room while she's trying to solve this puzzle for us, and we have to protect her. And I'm like, oh, if there's a scratch on this girl, I'm about to fuck somebody up. And then we try to escape on a helicopter with her, and she gets hurt during that, and I'm like, god damn it, like what are we putting this girl through? And then once we defeat the girl, we got her. Who's the girl? I'm the girl. Yeah, I'm the girl. That's how it should have been from the jump. You knew when you met me it was gonna turn out like this. Now you got shot in your chest, looking like a mess. Bars. Now you seeing stars. I'm not gonna keep going because I know I'm gonna ruin it, but you get the point. In one section of the game, Emily, she's hurt from that helicopter crash, and Emily doesn't make it, and you find her and she's like quote unquote dead, because spoilers, she lives at the end, but she transforms into a fucking bio weapon. And I'm just and then Leon, that's when Leon shows up and finally like catches up to Grace after what's been a long while, and he kills Emily, quote, essentially, not really, but he kills her at that moment, and you think she's dead, and Grace also thinks that she's dead.
Emily, it's me.
Nuh-uh. Chest power, the thing, CPR. CPR, yes. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive. No, she can't be dead. Oh, she's gotta wake up. Oh.
Emily.
Oh no. Close that door, Grace. No. No. Oh, that poor girl. No. No.
No, that's Emily. It's Emily.
I don't give a fuck. I do give a fuck. I don't want to kill her, but she's gonna kill us. That part, like, I was like, no, you. Man, it just putting her through that, and Grace is like had enough after that. She's like, I'm fucking sick and tired of this shit, and she goes with the enemy at that point. She just accepts as there's like everything is her fault and people are dying because of her, and she's like, I'll just go with them. This will clearly everything will be over if I just help them out. So yeah, it was like what a nice twist to do with the narrative. And that's when you get to play as Leon, and you go to Raccoon City, and you go through RPD, and you're seeing all this. They have a theme that plays in RPD. Man, I'm just all over the place, but this game is too good. I can't cohesively think about it, but there's a theme that plays during the RPD section. Sorry, it doesn't do anything, but it's reminiscent of the theme that plays during when you're in RPD in Resident Evil 2, which is a nice touch. Also, we crashed into the helicopter. I didn't mean to. I forgot to mention that, but like, how would we crash all these helicopters? Anyway, that's random. But yeah, once you get to Raccoon City, the game like opens up a little bit more, and you get to explore the city in a kind of open zone section. It's not open world, but it becomes a small-ish zone where you can kind of go wherever you want. The game obviously wants you to collect these things in order to move forward with the story, but you can choose like which ones to get first and yada 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 and all that. There's a cool section at a gas station that you can go to where there's like a ring of fire that starts because all these zombies start showing up. You find things out like Grace being a clone, I guess. I think she's a clone. What more do I even say? The ending was great. I'm glad Leon doesn't die. I really was thinking he was gonna die. I'm not gonna lie. I really was thinking he's gonna die, because I know he does die in the destroy Elpis section, but I was like, when it made me do that choice at the end, she said she had an idea that didn't have to do with destroying Elpis, and Leon said he trusted me. So I was like, we gotta release Elpis. What does the creator desire? I have to choose. What? I feel like if I release Elpis, it'll make the game last longer. I kind of want to release Elpis. I'm not gonna lie. Don't you want to know what Elpis is? Are you not morbidly curious about what Elpis could be? Plus, Leon was like, oh, I have an idea. Or not, I have an idea. That was Grace that said that. Elpis sounds like an embarrassing childhood illness. Well, you know what? Why don't we find out together? I'm going to release her. And I guess, obviously that meant that Leon lives, because that releases a vaccine. Elpis is actually a vaccine that helps save Leon and Sherry. Sherry's in this game too. It's cool. That's cool. Kind of random. Chris isn't. They do mention Chris, but oh man, I'm just going through a bunch of stuff. But there was the knife fight that you have with the commander. That was cool, reminiscent of Krauser. It wasn't as hard as Krauser, and obviously wasn't as long. But there's a section where you have to fight those guys, and I'm like, who are these guys? You know, the elite guards that you have to fight. Those guys fucked me up. They just shoot on sight, you know. And it's the first time I think you've had to legitimately fight human enemies in a Resident Evil game that I'm aware of, anyway. So I don't know if there's any other game. Plant 43 is in there. Dang, I just keep remembering things. Plant 43 is in the game. But yeah, I don't know if I really want to talk about like the overarching story. Just like go back and forth on just random moments that happen in the game. The lickers come back. It really is like, if you were new to this, you would think this stuff is cool. Like, it's a good game if you're new, I think, to hop in for the ride and just like see them reference things, and you can be like, oh, maybe I should go back and play 2, you know, and see what's going on there, or maybe I should play 3 and see what's going on there, or 4 or something like that. But as someone who played the other ones, I was like, man, they're just trying to get me the they're trying to get me with a nostalgia. Not really nostalgia for me, because I'm pretty sure my enjoyment of Resident Evil came around in like 2020 or something like that. Still, yeah, they're putting all these things in, and I'm like, dang, they're just going back to all the things that I know, you know. And it was just really cool. I don't know if I really have a specific way that I wanted to talk about this. I just had to spill out all the things that I absolutely enjoyed about the game, and I think that that's kind of enough for me. I don't think I need to try and frame this in any sort of way to be like, oh, you should buy this, or it's just something that I really liked, and it was super fun. So I'm gonna play it again on insane difficulty. I don't know if I'll finish it. I always say I'm gonna platinum these games, but they require so many playthroughs in order to do that, so I don't think I'm actually gonna do that. But I really want to play again on insane and see how different it is. I love doing these playthroughs, like second playthrough, because you can see how much faster you are and like how much you can kind of game the system. I bought the knife that like I guess never breaks with Grace, so that'll be fun, because I really liked shooting the zombies in Grace's camp, when in Grace's sections, and like pushing them to the ground and just knifing them. To be like way more resourceful instead of just like killing them with bullets. So yeah, I'm just gonna mess around a lot, and I'm gonna watch a bunch of speed runs, and I'm gonna watch people talk about it, and I'm just gonna enjoy myself, because that's what I fucking love about like finishing a Resident Evil game, is like now I can see the people who are like gonna master this fucking shit and get obsessed and like, or talk about the deep lore or some shit like that. Like I'm not gonna lie, there was one thing, I don't know who Xeno is. Is that Wesker? Can someone tell me if that's Wesker? I don't know if that was Wesker. I hope it's Wesker, because he needs to die. Okay, I think he just needs to go. I want a new villain. But anyway, yeah, it was good. It was a great game. I think it's going to be one of my, it might be my game of the year. I'm not super sure. We've still got a lot of games, so that's definitely recency bias, but it was fucking awesome. It was a fucking awesome game. Anyway, all right. What do you say? I don't really know how to end that. Anyway, all right. Resident Evil 9, great game. 2 thumbs up. I would do 3 if I could.